What if I told you that the person living your life right now isn't truly you, but a version of you molded by fear, formed by habit, and imprisoned by comfort? Look around. Is this the life you chose or the one you settled for? Somewhere, buried behind the layers of comfort and predictability, sits a version of you that once dreamt wildly, feared nothing, and believed in possibilities. But something occurred. A moment, a failure, a heartbreak, and suddenly you moved back instead of forward. You chose stillness over speech, security over danger, and now you call it peace. But deep down you feel it, don't you? That aching gap that says, you were made for more. We celebrate heroes, respect innovators, and envy the fearless, yet we overlook the reality behind their glory. Every great narrative starts with risk. Every soul that climbed from obscurity, every genius that smashed boundaries, and every legend who etched their name into history, they all made the jump. Tonight, we confront the mirror, not the polished one on your wall, but the rough, unpleasant one within your head. Because unless you risk something, you have no narrative to tell. The human obsession with safety. From the minute we are born, we are trained to be cautious. Don't touch that. Don't go there. Be safe. It's understandable. Evolution has wired us for survival. Our minds are structured not to pursue achievement, but to escape danger. The amygdala, the primordial region of the brain, sounds the alarm when we sense danger, whether it's confronting a tiger or standing up in a meeting. And thus we keep protected. We accept the job we don't enjoy because it covers the bills. We suppress our ideas to avoid disagreement. We favor the familiar over the new. Slowly, we sacrifice daring for predictability, ambitions for obligations. But here's the paradox. Although our biology encourages us to shun danger, our psyche thrives on meaning, purpose, and growth, and all of that needs bravery. The neuroscience of risk and reward. Taking a risk triggers the brain's reward system. When we welcome uncertainty and push over fear, dopamine, the feel-good chemical, floods our system. This surge promotes the activity, telling our brains, that was worth it. The more we take calculated risks, the more robust and driven we become. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, our brain reorganizing itself depending on new experiences. But the contrary is also true. Avoidance teaches the brain to dread more. The more we delay taking chances, the harder it gets to break free. The comfort zone progressively evolves into a prison. Risk as a story catalyst. Look back at your life. What moments do you recall most vividly? The day you played it safe, or the day you dared? Psychology informs us that emotionally powerful events create enduring traces. These are our basic memories, the tales we tell at dinner tables, the moments we relive when we need courage. And more often than not, they started with doubt. A declaration of love. A plunge into a new employment. A cross-country move. A choice to start afresh. What? Because tales require stakes. Without danger, there's no tension, no change, no victory. No risk, no tale. The fear of failure, a psychological prison. The biggest adversary of risk is the fear of failure. We dread rejection, shame, and disappointment. But psychology has demonstrated something powerful. Failure is not the reverse of success. It is a key part of it. Carol Dweck's study on the growth mindset shows this. People who perceive failure as a stepping stone tend to take more chances, continue longer, and eventually achieve more frequently. They don't regard failure as the end, but as feedback. Yet most of us have been reared in a fixed mindset world, where failure implies inferiority. So we avoid. We pretend we never desired it. We convince ourselves it's not worth the risk. But deep down we know we're simply terrified. The psychology of regret. Studies have repeatedly demonstrated that individuals regret inactivity more than action. In the near term, we could regret a failed gamble. But over the long run, our worst regrets are the chances we didn't take. The what-ifs. The missed opportunities. Dr. Thomas Gilovich, a distinguished psychologist at Cornell, examined regret extensively. His conclusion? People are troubled more by the roads not chosen than the ones taken and failed. Risk isn't the true threat. Regret is. The social brain and the need for validation. We typically avoid danger because of social fear. What will others think? Psychologists term this social evaluation anxiety. It's the reason we don't raise our hands in class, express our ideas online, or seek aspirations that look odd. But ask yourself this: whose life are you living? The brain needs affirmation, yes, but when validation becomes more essential than authenticity, we become hollow versions of ourselves. Your tale must be written by your hands, not dictated by the opinion of others. The role of identity: who are you without the mask? Psychologically, identity is formed by the choices we make. Each choice is a vote for the person we wish to become. And every risk you take is a declaration: this is who I am. Risk reveals character. It smashes the illusion and exposes you what you're made of. You're not merely someone who works a 9 to 5. You're not merely someone who follows rules and procedures. Deep within, you are a storyteller, a hero in the making. But heroes aren't formed from ease. They rise via danger. Courage is a muscle. Courage is not a personality attribute, it's a talent. It increases with repetition. Every time you choose danger over comfort, you build your inner fighter. Psychologist Albert Bandura dubbed this self-efficacy, the belief in one's power to change outcomes. It's built by action. You may study every book, listen to every podcast, and prepare for years, but your confidence won't improve until you do something dangerous. You don't need to jump from a cliff. You only need to take the next daring step. The most powerful stories come from the deepest risks. Think about the best tales ever told. They all started with discomfort. Rosa Parks grabbed a seat on a bus and launched a movement. Thomas Edison failed almost 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Oprah Winfrey was sacked and told she was unsuitable for television. Every one of them had a choice: retreat or rise. Their risks weren't simply steps, they were symbols. And that's why we remember them. Because the brain recalls emotion, remembers meaning. And nothing is more significant than a risk that transformed everything. The risk of being fully you. Sometimes the biggest risk isn't a job move or an adventure. It's vulnerability. The danger of being genuinely seen. Of expressing your truth. Of discarding the armor and admitting, this is who I am. Psychologist Brené Brown stated it best: vulnerability is the birthplace of connection and courage. You cannot create a fantastic narrative if you're hiding behind the curtain. Your greatness isn't in what you protect, it's in what you disclose. Creating your legacy. What tale will you leave behind? One of prudence and comfort, or one of boldness and transformation? You don't have to do anything outrageous. You simply have to accomplish something genuine, something that worries you a bit and thrills you a lot. The psychology of satisfaction isn't predicated on how much we accumulate, but how profoundly we live. And depth only comes when we dare to feel, to fall, and to rise again. Final thought: burn the backup plan. You don't need additional time. You need greater bravery. The moment is now. Burn the backup plan. Leave the coast. Take the jump. You may fall. You may bruise. But you will live. And you will have a tale worth sharing. Because after the dust settles and the years pass, no one will remember how meticulously you played it safe. They'll remember how openly you lived. No risk, no story. So write yours, one brave decision at a time.